Brought to you by Penguin.
Not So Stories, edited by David Moore, read by Adjoa Andoh, Jennifer Lim, Vera Chok, Ray Lim, Akbar Kurtha, Aysha Khaw, Crystal Clarke.
Foreword. Nikesh Shukla. Junot Diaz once said, "You know, vampires have no reflections in a mirror. There's this idea that monsters don't have reflections in a mirror. And what I've always thought isn't that monsters don't have reflections in a mirror. It's that if you want to make a human being into a monster, deny them, at the cultural level, any reflection of themselves." I think about that quote a lot, because so much of my work is about ensuring equal representation in books. I've talked at length about why it's important that we see ourselves in children's books. All of us. Because for a person from a marginalised background to see themselves in fiction, it shows them that their stories are valid, and they are seen. They are part of society, and they have merit. Our aspirational levels, who we are and who we can be, are set early on with the depictions we see of ourselves and each other. We can be the superhero saving the day, and we can also go and do the weekly shop with Dad and buy 3 crunchy green apples. And it's also for people to see people from marginalised backgrounds in children's books. Imagine if you didn't just assume your experience was the default. Your role models were people who didn't look like you, and you were the sidekick to someone diverse. It would let you know that we are all the default. All of us. I used to work for an organisation called Bookstart, which gifted a free book to every single child in the UK, from whichever background they were. They all got the same book, and the message was clear. Kids deserve books. Books stimulate imagination. Books show us who we are and who we can be. Books are the gateway to a world we don't know and a world we recognise. And while I found the work we did at Bookstart compelling and important, a thing that kept niggling away at me was representation in children's books. I've written extensively about feeling like a monster growing up because I didn't see myself reflected. But a thing that gets overlooked, often, is the gaze through which people from diverse backgrounds are seen. Who is telling our stories? And for whom? This brings me to Rudyard Kipling's Just So Stories for Little Children, which since its release in 1902 has been delighting children with its tales of how different animals acquired their most distinctive features. The book doesn't age very well. Because it is steeped in colonial nostalgia and a feeling that the British Empire was a benign part of the lives of those it oppressed. Perhaps it has aged very well. Who knows? In 2016, YouGov found 44% were proud of Britain's history of colonialism, while only 21% regretted that it happened. 23% held neither view. 44% is a lot. As I write this, academics are debating whether the empire was morally mixed, a good thing for those it ruled over, had positives. Post-Brexit referendum, the United Kingdom seems like a country divided by those who think the empire was a disaster, and that a return to those values would send us back into the Dark Ages, and those who think only about having our old passports back, centering the white British experience again, and getting rid of those pesky immigrants. These divisions were always there. Now, they have gained enough political legitimacy to become part of the discourse, beyond the tired political correctness versus racist nostalgia tropes. In a way, the literary canon has a vested interest in preserving the latter. So many of the classics are heralds of colonialism. So much of what we study, what we deem worthy to analyse and be inspired by, so much of our syllabuses take...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?